Welcome to Granny's GodPod number 58. First of all, I must apologise for my lengthy absence. I have been recovering from eye surgery, so life has been temporarily rather difficult. As we are now on the road to Easter, I wondered, did you know this about the resurrection? Rolling stone tombs still exist in and around Jerusalem. There are about 15 of them. The Bible tells us that Jesus' tomb was sealed, but not as we might think nowadays, corked all round and cemented, but with the type of seal we see on our electric meters, a little wire or string with a seal attached, so nothing that would survive for the archaeologist. The tomb had a guard, but we don't know that it was a Roman guard. In fact, it is more likely it was a Jewish temple guard. Matthew 27:62 tells us that members of the Sanhedrin went to Pilate and said, "We remember how the impostor said while he was still alive, 'After 3 days I will rise again.' Therefore order the sepulchre to be made secure until the 3rd day, lest his disciples go and steal him away." The first thing to notice is that the chief priests and the Pharisees of Matthew 28:63 were agreed that Jesus had died. This denies any swoon theory, as does the idea that the Romans would have let anyone fake their death. In gladiatorial combat, the Romans had someone touch the bodies on the ground with a red-hot poker, and if the body flinched, a pike went through the heart. The piercing of Jesus' pericardium was a similar method of ensuring death. Verse 65 gives us Pilate's reply to the request to safeguard the tomb. "You have a guard of soldiers. Go, make it as secure as you can." This could mean the Jewish authorities had a guard, or that Pilate had already given them a guard. It is not clear. Matthew 28:2 describes an earthquake, and in white lightning an angel of the Lord rolled back the stone, causing the guards to tremble with fear and become like dead men. In verse 11, we are told that some of the guards went into the city and told the chief priest what had happened. These guards don't report to their commander, they don't report to Pilate, but they report to the Jewish temple authorities. There is no way a Roman guard would have gone to the Jewish authorities. What would those authorities have thought of such a tale of divine intervention? Would they have doubted their actions in persecuting Jesus? The guards were given money by the Sanhedrin as a bribe to say that Jesus' disciples came at night and stole him away while they were asleep. A Roman guard would have been put to death for falling asleep while on duty, and so it is unlikely they would have taken a bribe to admit to that. But the Jewish authorities may have been fearful of the reaction against themselves if the news got out that they had mistakenly killed their Messiah. So bribing the guard was definitely in their interests. Jewish rabbinic traditions all agree the tomb was empty, or at least that the body was stolen, which means the same, it was not there anymore. In terms of an organised proclamation that Jesus was the Messiah who rose from the dead, Christianity first began in only one spot on earth, the city of Jerusalem. But that is the least place where such a proclamation should succeed, if the mouldering body of Jesus of Nazareth was still in the tomb available for view. There would have been no debate between the disciples and the Sanhedrin. the disciples wouldn't have been in and out of prison as they were in the early chapters of the book of Acts. Caiaphas would simply have said, "You poor deluded fisherman, look, let me show you his body." But he couldn't do that because the body was not available. While the empty tomb does not prove the resurrection, you can't have a resurrection if the tomb is not empty. While not everything that happened on that Good Friday is recorded in secular sources, there is evidence of the darkness and the earthquake. Phlegon, 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 a Greek author of wonders, reported the happening of strange things. He says, in the 4th year of the 202nd Olympiad, there was a great darkness at noon, so much so that in Nicaea in Asia Minor you could see stars in the daytime, and an earthquake took place that demolished many of the buildings in Nicaea. He was reporting what he saw. When the date Phlegon gives was calculated, it comes to April in 33 AD. So the context for the crucifixion on that Good Friday appears in secular writing. Some years ago now, an archaeological dig at the Jordan River also found evidence of an earthquake disruption in the AD 33 strata. Such discoveries show we have a sure foundation for our beliefs, and we are given space for faith. Our Father is not simply a puppeteer with children who have no choice. But the more that is discovered, the easier it should be for us to believe, rather than not believe. What do you think? Well, friends, I hope I've managed to find some things that you may not have noticed or that have not been widely published. I wonder what else could be found in the writings of the Roman historians. As for me, I'm looking forward to being able to get new glasses, which should make things a lot easier. Hopefully I'll see you again soon.